Well, the same judge who dismissed the Club Q suspect's 2021 case also warned that the suspect was planning something even worse.
Court documents detail the judge's concerns nearly a year before felony charges were eventually dropped. Now, News reporter Darius Johnson is following the story, and Darius, the concerns were highlighted in court documents.
Yeah, according to court documents that are now unsealed, back in 2021, an El Paso County judge was allegedly warned that the suspected Club Q shooter was possibly stockpiling weapons and explosives and planning a mass shooting. In June of 2021, the suspected Club Q shooter was arrested after holding up and threatening to kill his grandparents and blow up their neighborhood. At the same time, investigators found guns and 100 pounds of bomb-making materials inside the home. He was arrested on charges of felony menacing and first-degree kidnapping. His grandparents later told the court that the suspect is, quote, a sweet young man, and they did not want to bring any charges against him. They moved to Florida and wouldn't testify, so prosecutors ultimately dropped the case 6 months before the shooting at Club Q that killed 5 and injured dozens of others.
If witnesses in family things such as this, not a domestic violence thing, but something like this, don't want to participate, it is pretty hard to go forward without them.
Now, another expert we spoke to says that he wonders if the DA could have tried something else since the grandparents were not willing to testify in court. He says they would have had grounds to charge the suspect with an obstruction of justice charge as well as interfering with police, but clearly that didn't happen in this case.
Yeah, it seems like there's more that could have been done here. Darius, thank you. UC Health is seeing a sharp increase in the number of patients coming in with violent injuries like gunshots or stab wounds. The hospital in Aurora is now expanding a program in the emergency department. More outreach workers will have tough conversations at the bedside of victims, hoping to keep them and the community safe. Here's 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke.
I see it every day, pretty much. I get all the trauma pages, and I see all the stab victims, all the gunshot wounds.
Following the toughest cases in the emergency department is how Lawrence Gauchon spends most days.
I can relate to a lot of people that have been shot, stabbed, because I've been in the same situations. I've either been the perpetrator or the victim.
He takes his experience to patients at UC Health.
If we can reach out to them and talk to them and just show them something a little bit different, maybe they'll change. A lot of times the conversations that we have with them prevents them from retaliating.
The goal is to reduce violence in his community. Now his program as an outreach worker plans to expand.
I don't think we reach everybody in the manner that we should because we're so overworked.
We want to reach as many patients as we can, and it's really hard if we don't have the bandwidth to not be able to do that.
Lori Lovedale focuses on injury prevention at UC Health. With federal funding, she's excited to add more outreach workers like Gauchon.
Even once they're discharged, the outreach workers, if the patient wants, will stay with them and continue to help connect them to resources.
The At-Risk Intervention and Mentoring Program, or AIM, began in 2020. That's when 153 patients came in with gunshot or stab wounds. 2 years later, it jumped to 278.
As much violence as I thought there was, now that I see it, I know there's a lot more.
They hope more conversations here will help break a cycle of violence.
Yeah, the goal is to protect the community.
Kelly Rinke, 9 News.
UC Health wants to add 2 more outreach workers, which would double the size of the program. Lawrence finds most patients ask for help with housing, mental health, or finances.
TSA is raising fines after finding a record number of guns and carry-ons this year. The administration says officers have found 6,300 firearms in carry-on bags so far this year. Compare that with 2012, where they found 1,500, and they're raising the maximum fine now to nearly $15,000. Previously, it was around $14,000, excuse me. 88% of the guns found this year were loaded, they say, and firearm possession laws, of course, vary by location, but guns are never allowed in carry-on bags, even if a passenger has a concealed carry permit.
Firefighters in Larimer County spent the morning putting out a fire yesterday after an explosion along the Poudre River. Poudre Fire says it started just after 6 Sunday morning on the bike path between Shield Street and Taft Avenue. Firefighters say one person was hurt. The fire burned a small area near the bike path. They're not sure what caused the fire or the blast.
Well, German investigators are trying to figure out what caused a massive aquarium to collapse on Friday, sending a wave of water, debris, and tropical fish all crashing through a hotel lobby. It turns out a company in Grand Junction actually helped build that tank. Reynolds Polymer Technologies says it is sending a team to Berlin to investigate. The company manufactured and installed 41 acrylic panels that make up the outside of the aquadome. It held 1,500 fish. Most of them sadly did not survive. Law enforcement in Berlin say they are still working on a cause, but early signs point to, quote, material fatigue. The company says it's too early to tell exactly what went wrong there.